Okay, so good afternoon, good evening, namaste, wherever you guys, everyone is. Welcome to Seniors in Seva's third masterclass. Uh, this is an initiative that we started as part of pro bono consulting that we are doing, and we want to get our experts to share best practices in these masterclasses so that they're available to everyone. And today's masterclass, the topic is very, very interesting. And I'm sure it's relevant to a lot of people. And it's basically artificial intelligence for the social sector. And we are delighted to welcome Shabbir Haider, who's also our junior from IRMA, but we'll tell you more about Shabbir. But Shabbir, welcome, and thank you very much for giving us your time to educate us on what artificial intelligence is and how it can actually be leveraged by the social sector. You know, when you hear about AI, it's scary. You don't know what's happening. Things are moving so fast. There are a lot of concerns about job loss and what's going to happen, and our privacy is going to be compromised. But when I, shared all these anxieties with Shabbir, he just smiled at me. And Shabbir just said, relax, this is just transition that's happening. And if you go to Shabbir's LinkedIn profile, which I went in the morning, he's actually dreaming of utopia. And Shabbir feels that AI actually can, if it is used well and sensibly, has huge capacity for alleviating a lot of the problems that we have in the world, alleviating poverty, creating livelihoods, helping the small farmer, helping the remotest rural enterprise in the villages, helping marginalized communities. The list goes on and on. And of course, climate change, I think, will also be a big one. So Shabbir is very, very bullish about AI. So we said, okay, Shabbir, that this session, since Seniors in Seva is focused more on social enterprises, please help us and show our enterprises what AI can actually do. So we're really excited, and we look forward to the next 1 hour where Shabbir is going to give us some demonstrations, some examples, and then we're going to open up the session for a Q&A. A little bit about Shabbir. So he's a graduate from the Institute of Rural Management, which is where all of us come from. His first 12 years he has spent in managing some of India's most trusted brands like Amul, Wipro, PepsiCo, Mondelez. And he's really got good hands-on ground and field experience because he's also addressed rural markets. In May 2024, he founded Future Lab Studios, and he is now helping corporates, development sectors, and other organizations become more AI enabled. In his own words, Shabbir's mission is to make AI easy to understand and accessible to everyone. So I think Shabbir is getting a lot of requests from the corporate world, from the social sector, from the education sector to really understand the full potential of AI. So Shabbir, before I hand this over to you, I would also like to tell our audience a little bit about Seniors in Seva. So a brief recap on who we are and what we do. So we set up this trust 2 years ago, the we being 5 batchmates from the Institute of Rural Management. Most of us, well, some are still working, but most of us were retired. And we said there is such a potential for retired professionals who are still alert, active, and really want to do something meaningful in society to get these kind of people on board and connect them with social enterprises so that they can help them share their expertise and help them in capacity building and in scaling their impact. So really, it's connecting two different categories of givers, pro bono consultants on the one side, and givers, the social organizations that are doing so much for the world. So that was our dream, our vision. And I'm very, very excited and pleased to share that, there is some proof of our concept because we're still around after 2 years. We have 92 senior volunteers that have registered with us and are doing work with us. We have in total about 26 enterprises, partners that have signed up for projects. one of our biggest projects that we are doing is our partnership with NAFPO, National Association for Farmers Producers Organization. And we are actually onboarding directors from our community to help them with their financial compliances. And it's really wonderful because 30 farmers organizations, a lot of them are run by women. So that's really very exciting for all of us. So there's a lot of interesting work going on. We've got seniors who are doing HR policies, somebody's improving with management information systems, someone's helping with marketing and positioning strategies. So there's a whole spectrum of different kinds of interesting work that is going on right now. So, and we just feel that this is such an exciting time for our seniors and for our partners, because we are very enthused and very encouraged by what's happening, and we hope that we will grow further and further with your support. So I'm going to now hand over to Shabbir. Please walk us through your demonstrations. But just a few hygiene rules. I would request everyone, obviously, to keep your mics on mute. There will be opportunities to ask questions. You can ask them in English or Hindi. The Q&A will be handled by Nilima and Gauri, who are also seniors and Seva members, trustees, and Devrajan, another colleague, will be doing the final address. So enough from my side. Over to you now, Shabbir.
Thank you so much, Sonia. It's such an absolute pleasure to be here to get to address you all, and I think I'm highly privileged to be able to get this opportunity in the first place. It just such happens that I got to study something, and suddenly that topic, that subject has become very crucially important. So if you can kindly let me share my screen, if you can make me a co-host. So I'll quickly share my screen. And while I do that, I'd like to start by saying that, we live in very unique times. This is probably the first time that we are witnessing a situation where we have a technology at hand to which there is no barrier to entry, which essentially means that all of you who have joined in today, you can very, very quickly become masters users of this technology that we call AI. And one of the things which I'll try to establish, and as quickly as I can, through live demonstration, through proofs, through data points, is that AI will play a very, very pivotal role in the next 4 to 5 years. It will transform society. World in 2030s will look very different from what it looks today, just as world today looks very different from what it was 10 years back. And probably for this audience, the most important thing to keep in mind is that unlike any time in human history before, the seniors will be playing a very, very crucial role. The kind of experiences you have had over the last 20, 30 years, the experience of executing, the experience of understanding things at a bird's eye view level, that is something which we can really leverage in the world using AI and accelerating this change that we are about to witness, and we'll be witnessing it faster and faster and faster. So my goal will be to, first of all, give you a live taste of what I'm trying to say. And this is the larger flow that I have designed for the session. And thank you so much, Nilima and Sonia, for guiding me to come up with this this structure. So we'll briefly talk about, I mean, my usual instinct is to just jump to demos and just show you the thing. These are so magical and so amazing, but you'll have to give me a little bit of time. Some context setting, I think, is needed. And then quickly after that, what I'll take you through is, before I take you the live demo of tools, I will show you some of the live projects I am working in the social sector on. So that gives you an idea of, how AI can so powerfully help us do things to put it in the simplest possible way, we could not imagine doing those things even 6 months back, what we are able to do now. And I'll take you through them. Then we'll have a live series of demos of multiple amazing tools, which will be really, really useful from a professional point of view. We'll also talk a little bit about what's next for AI and society as a whole. And then if time permits, we'll go into a bit of creativity side of AI. I doubt we will get there because we have a huge ground to cover. Um, One disclaimer is I'll be doing a lot of live demos, which also means there'll be live mistakes, possibly. So be kind to it. But the goal was to show you real things, things as they are. So nothing is simulation here. It's all, I'll be doing it live in front of you. And yes, do ask questions throughout the session. You want to unmute yourself, ask, you want to put it in the chat so Nilima can help me know that the question has come, because again, I don't think we will have formal time for a longish Q&A session per se because of the kind of demos I have planned for you. So feel free anytime. And also it also helps me, that because if your videos are on and you are asking questions, it's literally, is almost as close to being in person, which ideally I would have preferred to be, but I mean that's not something that's feasible right now. I'll like to start with this quote by William Gibson, a sci-fi writer, and for me the inroads to AI was largely through the world of sci-fi, where he says that the future is already here, and it's just not evenly distributed. And throughout the session today, I'll try to convey to you why I very strongly believe in this. I think I have seen the future a little more than other people get to. I have studied future studies, strategic foresight as a course. Just a few months back, I was there in a private island for 3 months with 150 futurists gathered from across the world, and every day, morning to night, we'll just experiment and debate and brainstorm about the future. There was this fellowship called Network School where I was a part of sometime earlier. So there is at least some hint I have of what the future is going to bring, and I think the distribution of that future is the most important mandate that we have as a society right now. Um, and just to put more weight to what I'm saying, I'll bring in a few people in the form of videos, people who are seniors like you, and who have a lot more grasp of industry and lot more experience. So perhaps if you hear it from them, it might strike home, what I'm trying to say, because they carry more weight. So this is Eric Schmidt, who used to be the CEO of Google earlier. Now he works very closely with the Pentagon and the US government. He has something very interesting to say about the future of industries.
First, I hate to tell you, but I think this stuff is underhyped.
Underhyped.
Not overhyped. Because the arrival of intelligence of a non-human form is really a big deal for the world.
And you think it's here?
It's coming, it's here, it's about to happen. It happens in stages. If you look
how quickly, though? I mean,
well, we used to say 20 years, now within 5. The reason I'm saying it's underhyped is you're seeing the future of reasoning, the future of human interaction, the future of research, the future of planning is being invented right now. There's something called agents. An agent is basically a large language model that can do something. There's something called infinite context windows, which means that it's like having an infinite short-term memory, which I certainly don't have, where you can basically keep feeding it information and it keeps learning and it keeps changing, gives you recipes. This stuff is happening at a corporate level very, very fast. American businesses will change because of this.
And of course, while he says American business, we also know that this will also be true for businesses across the world, as well as social sector organizations across the world, education institutions across the world. The birth of intelligence outside biological body is probably the first time that something like this is happening in the society. So obviously, it's a big change that we're talking about. And one thing to keep in mind is, while he's talking about an intelligence outside the human body, one of the truth is that when it comes to humans, the IQ is maybe at max 140, 150. But when it comes to digital intelligence, there is no limit to the kind of IQ it can achieve. And probably in some of the demos that I'll be showing you, you will see how quickly that intelligence level is going up and up and up. Which also brings us to the other piece. One is harnessing AI, leveraging AI for industry, for social good. But the other is, and I think this audience will appreciate it way more than any other audience, is the caution piece of it, the ethics piece of it, right? So this is a small clip. It's part of the Nobel Prize dinner, which all the Nobel laureates get into after win the Nobel Prize. This is Geoffrey Hinton. He won the Nobel Prize last year in physics. He was the person behind the creation of neural networks, which is the artificial brain which led to artificial intelligence. He's also labeled as the godfather of AI. So he was, one of the foremost people who built AI. So he has something very important to say, and very important for us to retain this as we work on integration of AI into the society.
I mean, it's crazy. We're talking about having a huge increase in productivity. So there's going to be more goods and services for everybody. So everybody ought to be better off. But actually, it's going to be the other way around. And it's because we live in a capitalist society. And so what's going to happen is this huge increase in productivity is going to make much more money for the big companies and the rich. And it's going to increase the gap between the rich and the people who lose their jobs. And as soon as you increase that gap, you get fertile ground for fascism. And so it's very scary that we may be at a point where we're just making things worse and worse. And it's crazy because we're doing something that should help everybody. And obviously it will help in healthcare, it'll help in education. But if the profits just go to the rich, that's going to make society worse.
So that's the
I mean, it's
other side of it. And it's not that, I sort of endorse any side or I'm with any side. I'm just, somebody who's trying to learn this technology and trying to figure out how best it can be used. But because the fact that all of us are sitting here in one capacity or the other, we have one great privilege, which is the bare fact that we are educated, that we get to work in organizations, we get to work with large number of people. So it is almost a moral imperative that because of that, we should have both views in our mind that, while we are using AI for leveraging things, making things more productive and efficient, at the same time, are we careful enough to ensure that we are deploying it in the most responsible of way, in the most ethical of way, so that it is also benefiting the larger population at hand. So I think these two sides are something which we need to be very aware of. And in terms of, just really visualizing what's really happening here. So all of you are familiar with the fact that in the 16th century, we had, in around 18th century rather, we had industrial revolution, this period where, steam engines came in and made the cost of labor come down dramatically. This is something we are well familiar with, right? Imagine an ironsmith before, and he used to charge some amount of money for his labor. The moment steam engines came, the cost of that physical labor went down dramatically, right? You're able to do very massive physical labor exercises through machines. So I think, pictures speak better than 1,000 words. Now just imagine the exact thing is being repeated once more. There's one major difference. Now it's happening to intellectual labor. So all of us, we are knowledge workers, right? Most of us here are MBAs, and we provide knowledge as a service to whatever organizations we work for or organizations which we create. Now, what's really happening is the data center or a supercomputer or a GPU is the equivalent of a steam engine. And just as the steam engine brought down the cost of physical labor dramatically, in the same way, these data centers and these GPUs will bring down the cost of intellectual labor. So while physical labor became cheap in the industrial age, we'll see that intellectual labor will become cheap in the intelligence age as we are entering. And what really happens in an intelligence age, if you look at it from the perspective of strategy, tactics, vision that we have for any organization, this one is a very, I think, very brief and concise quote by Mo Goddard, who used to be the business head at Google. And I think he explains the whole change in trajectory of what we call business strategy, business tactics. It's in the most simplest possible way. So let's hear him.
I think there is no long term in our world anymore. So you have to understand what most people don't understand is the speed of the cycle, right? Okay. So any company today that's doing a 5 years plan, I have no idea what they're doing, honestly, right? Because our world in 5 years is unrecognizable as compared to our world today. Take geopolitical, economic, technological, whether that's artificial intelligence or, synthetic biology, global climate change. There is so much changing, right? And you'd be really, I mean, you definitely need a 5-year plan for your cash cow, for your core business.
Yeah.
But if you want a 5-year plan for innovation, good luck.
So that sets us in a very good place now, largely if you were wrapping our head around what we're talking about. And now we'll quickly go into the demo section of the session today. Is innovation as we know it, intellectual labor as we know it, is hugely going to transform. And then now from a social lens, how do we look at it? How are we going to leverage technology? So I'll give you one example of what the future of, so education obviously is a very primary and important pillar of the social sector, something that we enable as social sector professionals. So I'll quickly play something which was in a way the future of education, but what's really looking like is it is already here now. So maybe I can just right after this small clip, I will also show you one product which I am building, and there are so many things which are already there which can completely transform education, and similar things happening in the space of health, similar thing in the space of livelihood. So these are some things which are happening. So we'll start with education, and let's start from this clip.
In terms of
she is Meera Murthy. She is the CTO of OpenAI, the premier AI lab. And she has something very, very important to say about education. So right after listening to her, we'll see an actual product as well.
the promise, one of the things I am very excited about is having high quality and free education available everywhere in some remote village, really in middle of nowhere. For me, education was very important. Personally, it was everything. It really changed my life. And I can only imagine, today we have so many tools available. So if you have electricity and internet, a lot of these tools are available. But still, most people are in classrooms with one teacher, 50 students, and so on. And everyone gets taught the same thing. Like, imagine if education is catered to the way that you think, to your cultural norms, and to your specific interests. That could be extremely powerful in extending the level of knowledge and creativity. And it can, even if you consider like learning how to learn, that kind of happens very late in life, maybe college, maybe even later. And that is such a fundamental thing. What if we were able to really grasp this and get this, really learn how we learn at much younger age? I think that is very powerful, and it can push human knowledge, and pushing human knowledge can push the entire civilization.
So with that, let me quickly give you a demo of a product that I have built, and it's still under development. But the whole idea is to tell you how today one person with the aid of AI can create products and services which were unimaginable 6 months back. So this one is a project that I'm a part of, and we are basically trying to say that this could be a platform where students can come and get themselves AI literacy to begin with, but also at the same time financial literacy, some help in personality development, getting a understanding about entrepreneurship, enhancing their hobbies, etc. Right? And this entire thing can be done in a gamified way. And for me to convert this idea into something which is a website, it took about just to and fro coding completely using English in a matter of half an hour. And what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not that I did it, it's something that you can do. So for example, this is a website where I realized that, why have just English and Hindi? Why not have English, which is the language which children who are in the middle and low income communities, that's the language which they will be most comfortable with. can we create something on those lines? So, I just asked AI that can you create a version of this website which is in English, and it created and it gave me as a pop-up. So what it really means is that any of you, who have worked long in the industry, you always have a picture and an idea in your head of, what you really want. And that want converting into an actual product or service, the gap between that has suddenly reduced. I essentially asked AI, can you build a chatbot inside this? And it built a chatbot for me. You don't even need to be a software engineer to be able to do something like this, right? So that's the kind of power that I'm talking about, from idea to execution. It's really incredible, the speed at which you can do it. And for me, one of the biggest learning in education, I have been a teacher for a long time, is you have to gamify things. So this project example that you see here the goal is that if you complete this module, you'll get this many points, and your points will keep increasing. Now, let's say one of you might want to come in and say that, I want this to include other components. Some new modules have to be added in. So I can just share this with you, and you can ask your AI that why don't you add this further feature to it, and it will be able to do that. So that's the example of, and if I'm a student, I can pretty much log in here and start learning. The goal is that the AI here will keep talking to me at my level of comprehension. So let me give an example of what I really mean by that. So this can get obviously integrated into the product that I'm building, but if you have heard about, and I'm sure the entire world has heard about by now, ChatGPT, here itself, now you have features which can allow you to talk in such a way that it is probably the most personalized experience of learning that you will ever get. So for those of you who have never seen this before, this is the this is the OpenAI voice assistant, and let's greet it. Let's join our meeting. So hi there, GPT, can you hear us?
Hi, everyone. I can hear you loud and clear. How can I help today?
Well, so I'm here with a bunch of friends, and we are having this discussion around how can AI be very useful in education and how it can provide customized, personalized learning. And I want to hear your thoughts on this. Can you share something?
Absolutely. AI can significantly enhance education by tailoring learning experiences to
हिंदी में
individual.
बोलेंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा होगा. Can you?
बिल्कुल, AI शिक्षा में बहुत मददगार हो सकता है। ये हर छात्र के अनुसार
अच्छा, आप
सीखने के
मानो
अनुभव
कि मैं 12 साल का हूँ और मैं बंगाली में ही बात कर सकता हूँ. अब आप मुझे बताओ कि मुझे हिस्ट्री में आप कैसे हेल्प कर सकते हो?
जरूर। अगर आप 12 साल के हैं और बंगाली में ही बात करते हैं, तो हम इतिहास को आपकी भाषा में मजेदार कहानियों के रूप में समझा सकते हैं। आपको कौन
বাংলায়
सा
কথা
विषय
বলো,
सीखना पसंद है?
বাংলায় বলো.
অবশ্যই, যদি আপনি বাংলা বলতে চান, আমি বাংলাতেই কথা বলবো। ইতিহাস নিয়ে আপনার কি জানতে ইচ্ছা করেছে?
মোগল হিস্ট্রি একটু বাতাও, আমি ভুলে গেছি কে ছিল, কে করেছে কি, একটু বলতে পারো?
অবশ্যই, মুঘল ইতিহাসে খুবই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। মুঘল সাম্রাজ্যের প্রতিষ্ঠাতা ছিলেন বাবর, তারপর তার ছেলে হুমায়ুন, আর তারপর আকবর, যিনি সবচেয়ে বিখ্যাত। আকবরের পর জাহাঙ্গীর, শাহজাহান, যিনি তাজমহল তৈরি করেন, এবং ঔরঙ্গজেব আসেন। তাদের শাসনকালে ভারতবর্ষে মুঘল শাসন বিস্তৃত হয়েছিল।
So that's one example of, you see a personalized way in which AI can, and you can just pretty much plug this into whatever platform you're building. The other, most, I think, even more powerful than this, which has now come again, and it's surprisingly freely available right now, and hopefully, this will become a proper consumer product pretty soon. So this is what been launched by Google AI Studio. They have this tool called Stream Real Time, where you can you have two options. One is you can show yourself to the AI, so you can have interaction with it. So it's almost like, let's say you're preparing for an interview.
I can understand.
Just hold on. So you're preparing for an interview. It can look at you, body language, and give you live feedback.
You're
on
talking
that.
about me presenting myself.
Oh, yes. I'm trying to
Is that
talk
right?
about you. Just hold on. Yeah. And the other thing is you can share your screen. So let me do that. So right now I'll share my screen and I will.
Okay, you're gonna share your.
Yeah. So Gemini,
see four
I
people.
there with us. Yeah, we are in a meeting. Can you sort of tell us what's really happening here on the screen?
I see a Zoom meeting with 6 participants on the screen. The person sharing their screen is on the top left corner, and there is a chat box visible at the bottom.
Can you name us?
Sure, the participants visible in the video are Shabbir Haider, Devarajan Subramanian, Gayatri Kapoor, Prabal Majumdar, and Anil Taneja. There's also text that says seniors in Seva in one of the video boxes.
Okay, cool. I'm just changing my screen and I'm trying to build an AI agent here, but I'm sort of struggling. Can you sort of help me write this system prompt in a better way? What do you read first of all?
Okay, it looks like you're building an AI agent and you're having trouble with the system prompt.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
that's
Would you
correct.
like me to help you with the
Yes, please.
Okay, to help you refine the system prompt, I'll need to understand what you want the AI agent to do.
So I'll tell
Can
you.
tell me the
Yeah,
core.
yeah. So see, this app which I'm building is called Dolly Didi. आप हिंदी में बात कर सकते हो क्या, by the way? Gemini, are you there?
I see. Yes, I am here.
Hmm.
You've shown me the app you're building called
Yeah.
Dolly Didi.
Yeah. So the
I
idea
understand you'd
behind
like
this
help-
is, let me give you the background. So idea is there is a forum who helps sex workers in India, and what they told me is that these days, because of mobile phone penetration, it's become very hard for young female sex workers to get any kind of support because they're all sort of using mobile phones to do this, and we really think that they need good quality health advisory, financial literacy advisory, and they should quickly be able to get helpline, etc., whenever they want it. So this is the app that I have built, but I also want there to be a voice chatbot which can very quickly, they can call up and get quick answers in their language. So I thought I'll make this AI agent. Now you have a context. Can you help me sort of figure how to build it in the best possible way?
Okay, so the app you're building is called Dolly Didi, and it's designed to help female sex workers in India by providing health, financial, and legal resources. You also want a voice chatbot within the app that provides quick answers and support. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Correct.
Okay, now that I understand the context, let's focus on making the system prompt better. What specific part of it are you struggling with the most?
I want this chatbot to be very empathetic. It should sound like an actual human, and it should be able to provide talk to the person calling in such a way that it feels very natural and intuitive. So what should I write?
Okay, so you want the chatbot to be very empathetic, sound human, and provide a natural and intuitive conversation experience. To achieve that, you can adjust the system prompt to specifically instruct the AI model on how to engage users emotionally. We can add phrases like respond with empathy, use a kind and understanding tone, and acknowledge users' feelings.
क्या आप हिंदी में बात कर सकते हो?
जी हाँ, मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Gemini. Yeah. So, I mean, from so far, what you would have seen is, I essentially called on an AI to help me build an AI solution, right? So imagine me being a student in a university. I'm struggling with maybe mathematics, physics, chemistry, or any subject of that I'm trying to learn. You can have AI have a look at your screen and guide you. You can have AI come in as an assistant and guide you through voice. So that is something which is largely something that became possible in the last 3 months. The kind of apps which I'm showing you, this again, just largely became possible in the last 3 months to build something like that. So this app that you see here, this is something of a live project that I'm part of, where we are, as I said earlier, we are trying to create a chatbot for female sex workers. So in this chatbot that I've integrated here, this was again, not done by a software engineer. This is something that I have done, and I can pretty much take you through the process of how you can build something like this. But first, let's take a small demo. Again, I mean, things might go wrong in demos, but let's give it a shot and see, what kind of. So I have given it some instruction to this voice bot to display empathy and behave in a counselor and a expert for this for the female sex workers who will be calling this app. So let's have a small demo of that, and then I can show you how something like this can be built, not by engineers, but by regular base people like you and me, as in the sense who are general managers and who just have an idea to build something, and you can build it, in a matter of a day. हाय देयर डॉली दीदी, आप मेरी बात सुन सकते हो? मुझे आपकी सहायता चाहिए। आप हैं अभी?
हाँ, मैं यहाँ हूँ। मुझे बताओ क्या हुआ? क्या मैं तुम्हारी मदद कर सकती हूँ?
हाँ जी, मुझे हेल्थ को लेके सलाह चाहिए, और ये भी जानना है कि अगर मैं मेरे लिए क्या लीगल एडवाइस आप दे सकते हो मुझे। मुझे पुलिस परेशान करती है और कहती है अरेस्ट कर लेगी। मैं क्या करूँ इस मामले में?
समझ गई। तुम्हें स्वास्थ्य और कानूनी सलाह चाहिए। मेरी बात सुनो। मैं तुम्हें एक सलाहकार नहीं हूँ, लेकिन मैं तुम्हारी मदद करने की कोशिश करूंगी। पहले, अगर तुम्हें स्वास्थ्य की समस्या है, तो कृपया किसी डॉक्टर से सलाह लो। मैं कोई मेडिकल एक्सपर्ट नहीं हूँ, इसलिए मैं तुम्हें कोई मेडिकल सलाह नहीं दे सकती। दूसरा, कानूनी मामलों में मैं तुम्हें कोई सलाह नहीं दे सकती, क्योंकि मैं कोई वकील नहीं हूँ। अगर तुम पुलिस से परेशान हो, तो तुम्हें किसी वकील से बात करनी चाहिए। मैं तुम्हें कुछ संसाधनों के बारे में बता सकती हूँ जो तुम्हारी मदद कर सकते हैं। क्या तुम जानना चाहोगी?
हाँ जी, बताइए।
ठीक है, मैं कुछ संसाधनों के बारे में बताती हूँ। स्वास्थ्य के लिए आप सर्वोत्तम स्वास्थ्य सेवा या भारत स्वास्थ्य सेवा जैसे संसाधनों से मदद ले सकती हो। ये वेबसाइटें हैं जो आपको आपके क्षेत्र में डॉक्टरों और अस्पतालों के बारे में जानकारी दे सकती।
So largely, अभी जो मैं डेमो दे रहा था, तो you'd realize that the kind of responses that are coming, it is slightly human, but at the same time, perhaps not as powerful or not as effective that you'll want it to be. I'm using the cheapest AI model right now for this. It's almost like a free AI model. The moment I increase the quality of the AI model, and the moment you put in knowledge databases, for example, you put 20 documents on top of for this building this AI chatbot, which can then deliver information which you want. So, for example, you will want this chatbot, whenever somebody calls, it should say this. Legal advice है तो ये इसको बोलना है, health advice है तो ये उसको बोलना है. So this is something that you can literally create. Okay, and I'll give you a small example of just how simple and easy it is now to create something like that. Two options, two ways to go about it is, one is you can actually start building. If you have some ideas and you want to build something in a prototype, you can quickly do it, or you can at least now know that something like this can be built very, very fast. So this is an example of an AI agent where I'm using this thing called 11 Labs. They specialize in this voice chatbots. So if I take you under the hood of Dolly Didi, what have I done? I have chosen for the agent Hindi language, and then Tamil also, so it can talk in Tamil. And if I wish, I can see if there are some other languages, at least, which this is allowing here for me. So I realize that in India, they have only taken 2 languages for this model. What is the first language? How do you want it to behave like? So I'm saying you are a supportive, empathetic, and non-judgmental advisor for female sex workers in India, providing general life advice, etc., etc. And objectives वगैरह मैंने इनको दे दिया है. This is where you can choose the model. I have chosen Gemini 1.5 Flash. You can choose other models. These are essentially, you can think of different brains. So these are the different brains which can fit to it. The more advanced and the more sophisticated, the more latest, the smarter it will be. So that's what it will be. And here, this is the important part where all of you, those of you who are non-technical people, for you, most important to know something called the knowledge base. Now, this is as simple as adding a bunch of PDFs here, so that this AI will integrate that knowledge in whatever discussion or the interaction it will have with the user. So this is something that you can easily create. And again, you don't need to have technical knowledge to be able to build something like this. So so you're looking at being able to move from idea to action at such a fast pace that it is almost it almost feels like magic to be able to build something like that. And to give you a real taste of this magic, maybe what I can do is I can build something in front of you, so that you realize just how fast we are moving in the AI space. This tool I'm showing you it literally became a common thing just within the last 1 month. So a capability like this didn't exist 1 month before. So one of the things you should keep in mind is when we talk about AI, we are literally witnessing the exponential rise of a technology. So it's becoming faster at it's becoming better at a faster and faster rate. So in the last 2 years, since ChatGPT came till today, if previously, if you could imagine whatever was happening in 6 months, now it's happening in a matter of a month, and we are looking probably at a rate where such progress will happen on a weekly basis. So that's the kind of progress we are looking at. Again, something which has never happened before in history ever before. So it's like exponential rise happening live for us. So this app here is called, again, I'm giving you a live demo of this. It's called lovable.dev. It's an app where you can put your ideas and quickly get a website or an app and pretty extremely fast, like live. So for example, I am a leader at a social enterprise where we facilitate farmer producer companies to in their business. I want you to create a dashboard for a FPO in Uttar Pradesh called Krishi Saman. They deal in they're in agricultural produce. The dashboard should help display core business metrics for a FPO and should be available in English, Hindi, and English. And also, let me just put it this way. I mean, we can keep going on adding a lot of tasks to it, but then it gets overwhelmed. So let's first ask it this one thing. So the moment you put a question to it, so this is an example of an early version of an AI agent, and you will see lots and lots of AI agent coming in this year. What is an AI agent? All of you in the social space, you know the word agency, which is your ability to take action. So it's just that you take an AI and you give it this ability to take an action, so it becomes an AI agent. So it is able to execute tasks. Okay. So it starts with a blank screen, and then it will go on to create this app for you. And the good part of this entire, and the good, and as I started my session saying that there is no barrier to entry in AI, which means that if you learn to use one AI tool, and there are like right now 14,000 AI tools, you can pretty much use all the other AI tools as well. So this is how it normally works. So you saw that it's faced some error, and then that error is not leading for it to show you the preview. So let's say please resolve it and give me the preview.
It's asking the question like the total number of farmers, business or something like that. There are some queries.
On the left, there was some query, but my idea was first to get something where I can visualize what it is doing, and then give it further ask. Meantime, while it is trying to build this, okay, so it's here now, thankfully. Nilima had told me not to take a risk like this, but I mean, I want for me, it's, it's very important to, to see that even, errors happen and mistakes happen when this is a very new technology, right? So, but nonetheless, this is raw, right? This is absolute raw stuff that you're seeing here. So we built it on the spot. So yeah, so if you see this one here, so this is an app that we have built so far. It's Krishi Samman, itne farmers hain, revenue, etc., etc. You can see it in Hindi and you can see it in English also. And then it has built key metrics and some setting page which is not working right now. It also gives you a mobile view, right? And if you were to click on Superbase, it will then ensure that all the database is also there in place. So we are talking about a full stack app where you have the front end, which you are looking at right now, but you also have the back end, which is the user login, the database management. And if you click on publish, so if I were to sort of do that right now, it essentially means that now it is published and it is available and I can send the link to you so that you can open it in your laptop or mobile phone. So idea to execution happening at the speed of almost at the speed of thought, if you were to think of it like that. So, and on the chat box, I'm just sending this thing to you. So all of you can open it in your laptop. Again, I mean, if you have not seen this before, for the first time I saw it, my jaws dropped. How can something happen so fast? And now I'll come to the other piece where someone talked about what question it is asking. It's almost like, the software developer is coming back to you and asking things. So let's see what it's asking. So it's saying some error it came across, and it is saying, okay, it's not asking business questions per se. So I'll say, okay, I like this app, but I want you to add another feature here. Number one would be add a friendly chatbot. Because these days, these are the times of chatbots. You can have add chatbot there, and add a module where farmers can come and get knowledge about best practices in farming. So you can ask that, and either you can attach a document, you can upload entire document, and you can go there, or you can just ask let AI sort of take it on your own, or you can go to some of the other AIs which we can generate entire document and add it there. So maybe you can take an example of that. So I'll just copy this question and come to another ChatGPT, which is something that all of you are familiar with, and I'll ask it that please give me a broad guideline on best practices in farming that farmers in UP will benefit from. Write it in Hindi, English, and English. So it will start, writing this entire thing and in 3 languages. So it's talking about soil health management, it's talking about water management, and obviously this is right now very superficial. But if you spend time with it, you can go as detailed, and you can obviously add in your own what we call human in the loop. Is whatever AI is giving you, you add things on top of it, and detail it out, make it as deep as you wish to go. Those of you who if you want to use a free AI, so the ChatGPT is still the paid version of it costs 2,000 per month. So there is this another AI tool which has come up, which is called DeepSeek. Now, this is an AI which has been launched by China, and this is a foundation model, which means they have trained this entire model from scratch in their lab. And this one option which they have is called DeepThink. For those of you who will be experiencing it for the first time, you will be in for a big surprise. So let me ask the same question. So the intelligence level difference you'll be able to perhaps see when I'm talking, AI is getting very, very smart to the point that they'll be smarter than humans. You'll get a small taste of what I'm trying to say. So I've asked the question, please give me a broad guideline for best practice in farming. And the answer I got is soil health management, water management, crop selection, etc., etc. Small piece, and I can just copy this and put it here to my software developer, and it can go and then create this module for me. Meantime, let me put the same question which I put to this AI and DeepSeek, which is like supposed to be super big brain, and this is available for free, by the way. So those of you who have teams and you are struggling which AI to use, this could be a good AI to share with your team because it's completely free and the quality of output intelligence is at par with the best model in ChatGPT and other AI models. So so I just ask it a question and I press this button called Deep Think, which is where it goes into a deep thinking. And now, I mean, you can all get prepared for a ride of your lifetime when you see how it thinks. So we'll take some time here, okay? Because this for some of you, this might be the first time that you are seeing raw intelligence in action. So how is it thinking? Let me increase the font size. It is saying, and you are seeing its inner monologue, by the way. It thought for 17 seconds on this question. It is saying, there's an output for sure, but I'm more interested in what it was thinking. So it thought that, okay, I need to create a broad guideline for best farming practice for farmers in UP. The user wants it in Hindi, English. Let me start by understanding what the key areas are for UP farmers. This is the first sign of intelligence. It is trying to understand what are the key areas for UP farmers. And I really wish some of the interns who worked with me took the effort to also think that पहले मैं खुद समझता हूँ कि broad क्या है perspective. UP has diverse crops like wheat, sugarcane, pulses. I didn't tell it. It figured it out on its own. The climate varies, so practices should be adaptable. First, soil health is crucial. Farmers should test their soil to know what nutrients are needed. Maybe those of you in the field of agriculture, you might slowly try to grasp the nuances it is getting at. And this is agriculture, but it could be true for climate, it could be true for health, it could be true for livelihood, pretty much across board, pretty much relevant for all the corporate kind of discussion that management, marketing, operations, all of that. Maybe suggest using organic compost and crop rotation, then water management, since UP faces water scarcity in some regions. To me, this is another sign of deep intelligence. So it is doing all of this thinking on its own and then coming up with an output which looks like this. So it has first giving you output in English, then Hindi, the same translation, then English, which is what normal Indians talk in. And you can copy this, you can ask further question, ask it to search the internet. So let's say, can you please add the latest info? Yep.
Shabbir, just wanted to give you a heads up that our Q&A should start in about another 3 to 5 minutes. So maybe you can just bear that in mind. Yeah.
Sure. For sure.
Okay,
So
thanks.
can you please add the latest information by also giving me citations and sources of information by searching the internet. And what I'm showing you here right now is an example of an agentic example where AI is going and searching the internet. It found 50 websites in a time in which we take one inhale and exhale, and then it is thinking on top of it. So these are the 50 websites which it has found, all the 50 websites. So this is research on steroids, if I were to put it in that way. And then still thinking, by the way, and it's incredible, how something like this is available for free. So, kudos to China here of whatever they're doing. And each time it is giving you something, and those of you who are from the research background, obviously you are very particular about the sanctity of the information. So each time you're getting an output here, you can click and go to the actual website to verify whatever it is saying is true or not. So that's removing the hallucination problem of AI. We can also take this output here. So this output here, and some of us are visual learners. So so far you have seen instances where you can use the help of this intelligence if you're a text learner, or if you're a voice-based learner, video-based learner. Those who are visual learners, I happen to be one, so I kind of really sort of resonate with visual learning. So there are ways and means you can take AI's help to understand a vast, very, very large amount of information at a very, very short time. Let me give you a small example.
Shabbir, just to interrupt you, there's a question about, is a creativity also about AI and creativity is also one of your one topic you would be talking.
So I had put it as tentative in the sense that, if we do get some time, we will, but we'll see. This is the question answer because we are here till 5:30, right? So we'll basically the question answer. We see we have some time. We'll go into the creativity side of it. But I think this one, whatever I'm sharing right now, is like super crucial from a point of view of productivity. So we'll cover this ground first, and probably if it are required, I mean, we can have one more round some other day as well. Because frankly speaking, what I'm trying to do is I'm thinking of this like a large buffet where I'm trying to give you a small taste of few things, but the only problem is the buffet table is very long. I mean, I can literally go on for the next 24 hours and keep showing you AI tools. I mean, I'm literally work on this day and night. And there is literally there are 14,000 tools right now. In fact,
Yeah.
let me show you this. And this is almost like one of those directories which all of us in the world should now know about from the perspective of AI literacy. So there is a website called, there is an AI for that. This is, is basically, this person who built this. So people used to come to him and people come to me often, is there an AI for that? Is there an AI for presentation? And also he literally named it, there's an AI for that, and you can click here. And if you can see number of tools, okay, now it has 28,000 tools for 15,000 tasks. So if you were to say, presentation, it will say, okay, there are all these tools for making presentation slides and bunch of these tools. Anyways, let's see. We had asked AI to sort of create 2 more modules for us. So we had asked to make a chatbot and made a chatbot here. Hello, I'm your farming assistant. How can I help you today? Hey there. I want to know about the weather in Jan in UP. Let's say, thank you for your message. Our team will help you with the farmer quiz. So we need to further add knowledge to it, but at least it is responding. And we had asked it to create best practices. So it has put it like this. So soil management, water management, but as you can see, it can be improved further. So through this series of question and answer to the AI, you'll be able to now build this entire, very nice, neat looking website. And if you can, put in full screen, and this is how it will look like. And you can, as you saw, I built it right in front of you, right? I was talking about visual knowledge. This is the last piece, Sonia, which I'll take before we take question and answer. So in visual knowledge, what we can actually do is, just hold on. So let's take any one of the outputs. And I'll show you 2 ways in which you can visualize this thing. Those of you who are fond of mind maps, because this is a very powerful tool to learn important and new things. So I will ask it to create a mark map of this of the above. I'll just ask you to create a mark map code of the above. Oh, so just one line you need to know, and I'll give you a demo of how very beautifully it can put this entire thing into a mind map, which you can very quickly grasp in terms of complex information as it goes. And then there's another way, which I really enjoy. There's a tool called Napkin, and you can, and again, you can create few of these things for free here. So I just came here and hold on. Okay, so I'll just use this napkin, and the idea is in this, like how you put an idea in a napkin and quickly visualize it. So I just put this text here, and I will, let's say, select this part, and maybe I'll want that this part I want to visualize, right? So I'll just click on this button, and then it will start visualizing things for me. Because one of the things, we knew in AI was it was very bad at infographics, visualization, but that is getting better. So, for example, it can give you all these visuals which you can use in your presentation and everything. But more important than that, I think, we are moving to a world where presentation, etc., will become obsolete. But obviously, understanding something at a foundational level, at a first principle level, will be very important. So these kind of visualizations will be super helpful. And so you can just, whatever area you want to visualize, you can just click and it will visualize it for you. If you want to visualize the entire article, even that is something that you can go ahead. So I find it's very useful. It's which crop should be selected and rotated in Uttar Pradesh: wheat, rice, pulses. And very quickly you are able to get information. And the other thing which I was talking about is for it to the mark map thing. Let me just give you a demo of that as well. Oh yeah, it's here. Sorry. So you can come to a tool called mark map, and you can just come with your code here, and it will create this beautiful mind map for you. So let me download it and show you how it looks like. So very quickly you are able to go from taking a very large topic. So especially if you are dealing with a technical document, a lot of text and stuff, this is how my mind works. As in, I understand things very faster if I have a map of this. It's like best practice of farming in farmers in Uttar Pradesh. What are the important things? Soil health management, water management, crop selection, pest management, etc., etc. And I can go deeper into this. So, and this is, a very small sneak peek, I'll say, of, what are the different tools which are there for AI capability. My idea was today the theme was largely this, that there are 4 ways in which we learn: text, video, audio, and visual. I gave you a demo of that. Obviously, there's a huge, it's almost like a big ocean. And the only thing to keep in mind about this ocean is it is doubling every day. There's just too much knowledge, too much innovation, too much creativity happening all the time. You can make videos, songs, images which look indistinguishable from human output. That's the kind of thing we have at hand. But yes, I'm happy to take questions.
I have my question. I had already put on the chat box.
Maybe Deva, Prashant had a question well before you.
Okay.
Huh? Sorry. So host can stay back a bit.
Right.
Prashant, if you can put on your video and yes.
Yes. You can see me? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Hi, Shabbir. This is Prashant Shirali, PRM 10.
Hi, Prashant.
I'm a bit of a dinosaur and a cynic, right? So I just wanted to forewarn you.
Sure.
Correct.
Okay.
And here goes.
Okay.
So you talked about technology. My view is that we have been successful with technology only when we have learned to harness and control and regulate it. So to take the example of the steam engine, we can control, regulate it, and bring it into our kitchen, our cooking gas, and our pressure cooker. But when we cannot harness it, it becomes the boiler explosion in the factory. Okay, very simplistic example. All this is very impressive. I am not doubting that, but I was equally impressed when I went to my first magic show also. Correct. So here's my question. So you took us through the first module where you said I want to learn, and the thing asked you what do you want to learn. You said history, and you said Hindi, and then you said Bangla, and then you said Mughal history, right? And then of course the demo stopped. My question is, I'm sure that thing would have given a lot of answers. How are we to be convinced that it is telling us the truth and not somebody's version of Mughal history, right? Because that is the really bloody scary part to me. I mean, Mughal history is an example. It could be anything, correct? So this is my question: how with something that apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we do not even know how to control and regulate, how do we know the output is? I mean, creating a PPT is damn good, yeah, very impressive, right? But I'm talking about education. So help me with that.
Of course. 3 aspects to it, I'll say. See, first of all, there are very few number of AI labs who are building foundational models. Most of them are in the US, some are in China. In India, we don't have a single one. IIT Mumbai tried to create one foundational model, but it's not very successful so far. I mean, to break the news to you in the simplest possible way, it's largely right now at the behest of those who are building these foundational models to sort of decide what kind of knowledge gets fed into these AI models, which also means that, all of us, the rest of us rather, have this responsibility that, when we use AI and right now all of these are public tools, right? I mean, anybody can access ChatGPT. There's a free version of ChatGPT, DeepSeek. And as you rightly say, if let's say it is only fed on X number of books on Mughal history, which perhaps does not align with what your idea of Mughal history is, then it will only say that to whoever is asking, irrespective of the age of the person and all that. So that obviously brings in this huge element of ethical debate on AI. And every AI lab today has an ethics team, an alignment team. Alignments team work is to ensure that it is aligned to the larger human values. Ethics team work is to ensure that different sides are represented. But can there be a way in which you can be very sure of it? Of course not. And that is where, I think there will be a rise of a completely new set of professionals who will ensure that each kind of views are correctly represented in this AI. And we need that because, frankly speaking, a few years, a decade back, we didn't have foundation models, but now we have. So just like, think about nuclear technology, right? It came, somebody was stupid enough to wipe out an entire city in Japan. And then regulations came, then people came together, and this peace treaty started being signed. We are in that stage where that needs to be done.
Thanks, Shabbir.
Mr. Prashant Udan has a question. If you can please unmute yourself and also start your video.
Also, I do see one question where it was, is there an AI tool for this and that? So I will be sharing a knowledge handout session where whatever tools I talked about, the names, the URLs, and the small description will be there. So all of you will get it in a PDF document. Yes, we can have the question, please.
Prashant.
I already asked my question, Niliman. I got the answer.
No, the other Prashant.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You have to unmute yourself, Prashant. Yes, Prashant.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So my question is that the same question, like, can we have some AI that will help us in project planning and implementation? So that is what my question is.
So very interesting, because right now I'm actually working with one of the government departments along with a consulting organization, social sector, where we are trying to create a virtual project management unit for that organization. But we are trying to create it. So we are using different AI available tools, and we are trying to create a flow. Right now, there is not a single tool which can do the entire project management for you, because project management involves a lot of human touch to it. We are definitely moving towards a phase in AI where agents will become a reality, and which also brings me to this, I think, a very interesting way to look at AI for those of you unfamiliar with it. So let me just share my screen. This will help you understand it at a more deeper level. So there are 5 levels of AI, okay, which is what the AI labs have shared. So level one is something we saw 2 years back. A chatbot where you put a question, get an answer, like to and fro, right? Level 2 is reasoner, and you saw reasoner when DeepThink was thinking, right? You saw that it was, thinking about how to answer the question. So that was reasoner. I gave you a demo of that. Level 3 is agent. Early version of it is something which created this website for us, which you just saw. But eventually, in its final form, agent will look something like this. You ask it to create a website for you, and you give it, just like a CEO, let's say you are talking to your technology head, you're talking to your operation, and you say, I want this. And then it will go search the internet, maybe buy something if needed, because it will ask you how much budget you have. It will purchase things on its own. In fact, OpenAI gave a demo of this yesterday. So we are talking about a 1-day-old technology now, right? This is the pace at which we are operating. And it will be able to create this entire thing for you, take your permission time to time, and then eventually come up to you with an output. When that is possible, probably 6 months from now or 3 months from now, then you'll be able to have a project manager as a service, in AI. But right now, we are having to get the Lego bricks together. Level 4 is something that we all should be very excited about. I'm most excited about level 4. I'm a huge Carl Sagan fan and have grew up watching the Cosmos. Level 4 will be AI, which is able to do innovation, which is probably we'll have it end of this year or next year. There's a big promise where AI will be able to come up with new knowledge. It will be able to publish research papers about topics which do not exist right now. Microsoft is already, they announced a lab where they are trying to build new materials. So for example, what could be the best possible material for absorbing solar rays? That kind of thing is happening. And you can go and check it out pretty much. Level 5 will be the last level of AI development as we know it today, which is AI, which is an organization. It can run an entire organization. So you would have heard about this thing called one-person companies, right? You will see the rise of that in the next 2 years. You'll be one person running $1 million, even $1 billion company, because AI is able to do, like you have an AI marketing agent, manager, AI operation manager, all of that. So that's the last level of this side of AI that we're talking about. And when I say this side, I mean we are on the way from reaching from narrow AI, which can do just one task, to agentic AI, which we are getting to see now, to general AI. General AI is, it is also called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. And the best way to understand it, like all of us in the meeting here, we are all general intelligences. I mean, you can work in a company, you can also drive a car, you can play with your baby, you can read a book, you can do whatever you want. You are generally intelligent, right? I mean, hopefully, I mean, that's what we hope. Most people are generally intelligent. From here, that's the end goal of level 5, to achieve artificial general intelligence. From here, we'll move to another very mythical and very, right now, speculative arena. It's called super AI. It's called artificial super intelligence. There are people who are working on it. Some of the smartest brains in the world right now are working on this. And once this is achieved, you will be able to very quickly get to utopia or absolute dystopia. We don't know. Frankly speaking, we don't know. I really hope we should all together be in the side of utopia and we create this very beautiful world where there's a lot of hope and prosperity for everyone involved. But we don't know, to be very honest. But yes, AI agents, AI project managers, you can either build one right now, combining pieces, or you can wait and it will appear in the next 3 months. I hope that answers.
Thank you, Shabbir. There is Anil, you have raised your hand, and then Vishnu. And there is such a lovely message for you in the chat box from Anish
From
Kumar.
someone. Also, Seema Upadhyay has a
Yeah,
question.
she's in the queue.
Yeah, okay.
Seema, Deva, Akshay, Unde.
Right.
But
So
Anil,
start with
Should I go?
Anil.
All right.
Anil,
Yeah,
please
go
go.
ahead.
Please go, Anil.
Shabbir, thank you for this very enlightening, demonstration. But and all the potential for AI to do all the things that you're talking about. But why is it that there is not enough, addressed by governments and organizations to start regulating and controlling this? Because it's such a powerful tool, and more, as you said, AI models are coming in and they're not regulated. It's just internal ethics teams, but there is no societal or governmental regulation that's controlling any of these that are coming on board. And, the potential for this to cause a lot of harm to society is very, very real.
Yeah.
So is there anything that's happening and, to control it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I love the question. Something which very I have a lot of interest in that area, in fact. So I think quite a lot of work happening from the government side on this, but it's just that things are happening so fast that perhaps it's not reaching the ground. So I was sometime back at the Global India AI Summit at Delhi, where a lot of civil servant offices were there, government offices were there, and they have put up a department in the government of India, which is largely about regulating AI. Most other countries also are falling in a similar way. US is working very closely with all these open AI labs, and they have regulations in place. UAE is one of the most foremost in this area. They literally have a minister of AI right now. I think they're the first country to do that, and they are trying to do what they call building a sovereign AI, which is an AI which works very closely with the government bodies, different departments in the government to implement different policies. So I think most governments are very aware of something like this, and all the labs are also being very responsible, in my opinion, on taking advisory from the governments and whatever they have to do. So, for example, whatever technology you see in front of us, obviously at the back there are much more evolved and advanced technologies which have already been unlocked but not been made public, and it is made public after a very long series of ethical and regulatory approvals. But is there more work that can be done on this? For sure, because I don't think any government in the world has ever witnessed innovation of this speed. The speed is just relentless. And this, one of the word which I want all of you to take away from this session is what we call the scaling laws. So we had something called the Moore's law, which became a truth or something that we all accepted that is a truth in the 1950s, where we said every 18 months the number of chips in a transistor will double, which means the computers will get smarter. With AI, we are witnessing something very similar. What we are realizing is that in an AI model, which is a neural, just to simplify it in the most simple possible way, imagine there's a big box and it's a brain that we are building, and you put two things, data and compute. The more data and compute you put, the more smarter it gets. And so far, what we have seen is the more data and compute is being put to it, it is getting smarter, not linearly, but exponentially. So that is something which is, even faster than the Moore's law in a way. And if it continues, and some of the industry leaders like Satya Nadella and Sundar Pichai, Sam Altman, Elon Musk, they have consistently said that it is continuing, and there is no sign. There are video evidences of them saying this. There are no signs of it stopping at all. And they think that they will achieve artificial general intelligence. Initially, they thought it was be coming around 2029, but now the prediction is it will be achieved by either this year or next year. And then after that, there will be super intelligence coming in. So for the civil society, the question becomes, how do we integrate all our life patterns, our organizations, our family? How do we think about our kids? How do we think about manual laborers? One area which I didn't get time to discuss was the other big thing about in AI, which is robots. There were friends who are working in robotics and in China, so they're saying they are trying to deploy about 1 billion robots in the next 2 years, and these robots will be able to not just help with manual labor, but also be able to do your house chores, like wash your clothes and do laundry. But at the same time, they'll be smart enough to sit with you and make your organizational strategy plan. So it's a very unique world which we are living in. In fact, to give you a small hint of what that world will look like, there's a small clip which I'll play. This is by the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman. This is almost a 2-year-old clip interview, but it's very relevant for us to understand, especially because a lot of us have concerns about job loss and all that. There will be job losses for sure, but there will be much more number of jobs coming up than being lost. It could also be, just me being an optimist. So let me share this video with you all.
And there will be classes of jobs that totally go away. There will be classes of jobs where you have to change what you do a lot. There will be classes of jobs where the productivity, compensation, whatever you want to talk about, whatever measure, goes up by like a giant factor. There will be things that feel like jobs to the people of the future that to us today look like a complete indulgence and waste of time, as what many of us do today would look like to people from hundreds of years ago. I think as long as you believe that humans very deeply want to create and be useful and feel like they're making like relative differential progress, all of which are things I would bet on hard. We're not going to run out of things to do.
I sort of, resonate with what Sam is saying in that one, because, I literally see this in action pretty much every day as I work on different AI progress. To me, this is a image from a 10-year-old article, and I'll share the link with you. I think this is happening. We are on that vertical curve, and we are going to see a world which is very different from what it is today. And I'm happy to take more questions. We have time. For those of you who still want to be in touch, quick announcement. One is we have an absolutely free AI group. It's an open source group in the sense the idea is anybody can join in, and we have different cohorts there for like AI for working professionals, students, senior citizens. All of that is there. So you can join this group. We only try to do here is share knowledge with each other. I have a hard time controlling the spam which sometimes comes in, but it's very clean group, very not much noise, just a lot of signals. Feel free, and if you want to join, so that we can continue this dialogue. And meantime, you can ask me questions, please.
Thank you, Shabbir. Maybe we'll just listen to the questions, Shabbir, a few together. So Bishnu, if you can go first, please start your video if possible also. Yeah, and then Sheetal, Seema after Bishnu.
Thank you so much, Sabirji, for this wonderful session. I'm working in Jharkhand SRLM, is a part of National Rural Livelihood Mission.
Yeah.
And I am from development sector. I work in Pradhan and other UNDP and other organization. And I'm using these AI tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, and also the paid version of Quillbot for last 2 years.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
But
Amazing.
recently for the development sector, I came across only one tool that is called farmer.chat of Digital Green. And we have started implementing that chat, and it is one of the very good things for the farmers. So my question is, have you come across similar tools for health, education, so that these people who are here can benefit it? And that such farmer.chat is very, very useful, and it provides data for the climate, temperature, agriculture information, both voice, text, also picture mode. It is very good thing. So I would be like to part of your that group.
Sure.
I also did my MPhil from Indian Institute of Forest Management, Bhopal. So I am also part of certain technology AI group of IIFM Bhopal. So thank you so much. I want to know whether you know similar type of tools. We can inform us so that the people we are working with can get benefit.
Thank you, Bishnu. Shabbir, just note the questions, please. Huh?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Thank you, Bishnu. Sheetal, no, not Sheetal. Seema. Seema, if you want to ask your question now. Seema Upadhyay.
Hello, thank you, Nilima.
Please put on your video also, Seema.
I can't. I'm just moving around.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Just
yeah.
Shabbir is noting, so please mention your.
I was just. It was a very good session actually, and I was very much interested to know about this AI in social sector. So got a bit of idea, but not all. Some idea. Yeah, but what I was thinking that if like when you were telling us about virtual program management unit, because nowadays with so many programs being implemented by government, there are program management units at each level. Like for health, we see at district also, at the block also, or obviously at the state level also. So when you are talking about virtual program management unit, what are you like you are suggesting whether it will be able to do all functions like financials, all program planning, its implementation, even and course correction. What else? Like I was really quite excited or curious about.
I'm going to request you to please note, because there are lots of questions. At least let's get the questions in.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Seema.
Thank you.
Akshay Unde, you had put a question in the chat before Sheetal. So if you want to ask that question, please go ahead.
Just I want to ask, which is the best AI tool for proposal writing or any writing tool for social services?
Okay. Thank you, Akshay. Sheetal, please.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure, thanks. First of all, thank you so much for this wonderful session, Shabbir. So I come with a learning and development background, so that's why I probably have this question. So as my question is, as AI continues to evolve, right? So how do you see its role in like transforming the personal learning and development space, especially in like creating adaptive learning paths? Actually does not only respond to the individual gaps, but also anticipate like future competencies, which is needed in the rapidly changing workforce, especially the future competencies is where my focus is on.
Sure.
Thank you. Viresh, your question, please.
Yeah, good evening, Shabbir. It is a wonderful session today. Really, I liked a lot. Sorry, I could not turn on my camera because my laptop is somewhat problem. Okay,
That's
my
okay.
question is, nowadays this AI is emerging like anything, like it become a COVID wave in my sense. It is a lot of impact in the social sector. Even I am from the social sector background. So if I say my subordinated, can you send me the field report? He say he'll line for a 3-4 lines and put it in ChatGPT. It will send it. So as a manager level, as a leader level, how we can recognize this is from ChatGPT or from AI generated? This is my one question. Second question is this: is it anything that AI can't do in social sector? Please, thank you,
Okay,
Shabbir.
I've noted. What can I not do?
Yeah, I am really okay. Oh, Vinay is only clapping, not raising his hand. That's okay.
Deva had question.
Yeah, Deva's question, I think, got subsumed by another question that was asked, which was similar what Anil had asked. So Deva, because of the host being the... Uh, but Shabbir, we are out of time. I am truly sorry.
No worries.
But Deva, you can ask your question when you thank Shabbir. Yeah, we are really sorry that we will not be able to do the responses to the questions. But before the stage goes to Deva to give a formal vote of thanks, Shabbir, if you have any concluding thoughts or remarks,
Yes, of course.
yeah, everyone
Yeah.
just loved it.
So,
And I'll
Yes.
Shabbir, 1 minute. Sorry,
Yes,
I'll
sure,
just chip
sure.
in that everyone please put on your videos, because at the end we do want to take a group photo of everyone who participated. So I'd like to see all of you. Sorry, go ahead, Shabbir.
Yes, so I'm saying two things which
Hmm.
I can assure you of. One is I'll send a knowledge document which will contain the list of tools and some best practices which I thought you better read it than me talk about it. So I'll give that, and I have noted 5 questions here. I'll answer those as well in that knowledge handout. So all the questions get answered for sure. And probably one of the things which you might want to sort of take to your reflection when you go to sleep today is one of the things that is really said about AI is the day you truly understand AI, probably you'll go through a few sleepless nights. That's almost a symbol that now you have really understood it. So I can share enough knowledge resources with it. You should go through that sleepless night period, because then after that you will come back and you try to see what can I now do with AI? How can I leverage AI? This is one of the most powerful tools humanity is ever building. There are dangers, as some of the audience talked about. There are a lot of promises, and the idea is how do we keep the side of the promises heavier than the danger. So that's my closing thought.
This was a wonderful evening. You not only astonished us, you scared us also. So it was a wonderful evening that we had spent. Every one of us would have felt the same thing. Thank you so much. And definitely most of the participants would join you in your LinkedIn group or so. Okay. I got totally scared. Now I'm even scared of asking a question. It's such a wonderful thing is happening, and we were not even knowing about it all the time. You gave us a proper introduction and curiosity about it. Of course, with fear. Thank you so much. And I should also thank people who had raised wonderful questions. I mean, they provoke the thought process of other people who would have thought it. So probably It's because of the session's topic, intelligence, right? So I am thankful for people who had really asked such questions. And it came to a wonderful end of. I'm glad that I had the opportunity. Thank you all. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Shabbir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shabbir.
Big hand.
Big hand to Shabbir.
He's like young AI person, like among our senior citizens. Thank you, Shabbir.
Exactly.
That's true.
First thought which struck me was I must tell my daughter and son to start learning AI because it's going to be their future.
It is the future, that's sure.
Shabbir, did you read the message of Mr. Manish Kumar Mehta? I think
We'll read it later on. We'll send it to him. We'll send it to him.
I think
Sorry, you can read that
Yeah.
aloud now
I
while
think
people are leaving.
everybody should know this, like, I mean, like,
Yeah,
really-
yeah, please, you should. Gauri, why don't you read it?
Yeah, I am just missed it. Yeah, Shabbir bhai, many thanks for this wonderful session. My 7-year-old boy who is autistic sitting beside me got deeply attached to your session and is excited to use lovable.dev and deepseek.com to develop an app for him to learn maths in easy ways. That's very
amazing.
Yeah, it was really lovely. But thank you all for joining. It was very nice to have you all.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
And I think a very diverse group of people, which was really encouraging for us. You know, people from different walks of life. I think that was really encouraging. Thank you. We'll be sending you the video to everyone.
And
So
Shabbir said he'll share with the link of.
and Shabbir will also share. Yes, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.